Guys, today I'm going to be making a gorgeous cat easel card. Alright, so we've got in front of us the gorgeous papers and toppers, etc. that came out of a Kanban set. I don't remember the actual name, but they had a dog set and a cat set. So what I've done is I took this sheet. This came out of the paper pack. However, I really wanted to use this image here. So what I did was I used one of my spellbinders dies and just die cut that out using that. And then I had this sheet which I'd already used something from already, and again using a spellbinder die I just die cut out this little tag, I guess you'd call it. And as you can see, it wasn't perfectly the same shape as the printed version, but it was all within the lines, so that was fine for what I wanted it for. I've then obviously got my envelope, and I've also got a pre-scored, say 5 by 5, so this would be 5 inches here by 10, and then it's already scored at the 5-inch mark for us, but I didn't fold it so that we could go through how to do our easel card. Now I've had these 2 sheets of paper from the set. Let me just try and gather up my little flowers, and I cut a piece off and I put it through my machine, and I created a mat for my cat, cat mat, and obviously this die here, and then I created a bigger mat for that using the bigger die. I also cut out some flowers using again one of the spellbinders dies, and I can't quite remember which one it is at the moment. Okay, so I cut a few of those out, and again I may or may not use those, I haven't quite decided. And then I've got the remainder part of my 2 pieces of paper, and it's this gorgeous it's almost like a Hessian look in this lovely greeny colour, and then this plaid again in the pinks and greens, and then that's just a little spare piece as well. Okay, so that's nice and easy. So the first thing what we need to do is take our 5 by 10 piece of cardstock and fold that in half. Okay, so I'm going to work I think on my glass mat for a minute because I think that might be a bit easier. So we're just going to fold this in half, and it is already scored, it is textured, so I want to make sure that the texture is on the outside. So just making sure these 2 are lined up, and you can do this with any size card. Just fold it in half, so you don't have to do a square card. And this is just your basic easel card. There are all sorts of fancy variations. Okay, so then you can score or you can just fold. The next thing we need to do in order to create the actual base of the easel card, we need to create our little stand. So we're going to take the front piece of our card and we're going to fold that in half again. And as I said, you could do that on your scoreboard if you want, but this isn't actually quite 5 by 5, so that's what makes it easier if you actually do have a precise size that you can fold in half. But if not, long as you are careful, you should be able to fold it nicely like this. Okay, so then that creates the stand part of our card. Okay, so the next thing I want to do before we create the easel part of our card is to decorate the inside. So all I've done is I've cut a piece of the patterned paper, in this case that lovely green, and I've just done it slightly smaller to give a little border, but you could do several layers, whatever you want to do. The only thing that you have to bear in mind is that you need to create something on here that is going to hold this in place. So one common way of doing that is to create a little stopper which is raised up in the air that goes all the way across the page, so you could raise that with a bit of sticky foam, or in our case we're going to use our little tag. So you just need to ensure that you've got something there to hold it, and it usually needs to be, if you're going to do something small one side, you need to be careful because sometimes it can kind of twist, so you need to just be sure that it's got enough there to hold it. You know, you may do one side and then just put a little something the other side, but before we'll get into that in more detail once we've started this bit. So we've done this bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my tape pen and put the adhesive on the back. So this is a nice simple little card to make, but I always think they look so effective when they're done. Just making sure it's centralised like so. So I think that looks nice already. Okay, so next I want to put in place my stopper. So we need something that's going to hold this in place, because if you just left it like that, it wouldn't sort of stand up. It just doesn't have the easel in place. And the other thing you always need to make sure with an easel card is that your creases are nice and sharp, because that's what creates it to stay standing as well. So then it needs to rest against something. So I've got this piece of pattern paper which I've cut carefully to try and get the pattern reasonably even, and then all I'm going to do is take some of my 3D foam. There we go. As you know, I usually use my glue gel, so it was tucked away. So I'm just going to use, and it's not massively thick, and you could do it thinner than that even. And just making sure there's enough on there to hold it in place. I'm going to be good, and I'm just going to use 3 pieces. Whoops. So take these off. 1, 2, 3. And then it's about positioning. If you put it too far back, your easel card's just going to be miles too upright. You probably want it really nearer the front, in the sort of about a third back, I would say, is your kind of average. And that's the back part of it, will be about a third. So if that's half, you're looking at about the back part of it around there. So if you've got a narrower one, you might want to, you can get away with bringing it forward, but that's just kind of roughly. Okay, and then you can see it just holds that nicely in place like so. And obviously we're going to put our little tag on there with the sentiment, and maybe our flowers as well. We'll decide all of that decoration part later on. Okay, so now we're going to work on our front piece, and I've cut a piece of cardstock that is exactly the right size to cover the front of the card. The only thing is that we're only going to be sticking it on the bottom half. So whereas normally if we were covering the front of the card we would stick it all the way down, obviously if we did that, when it bent it wouldn't bend. So we're just going to stick it on the front part, so then that creates the easel that stands up. Now you don't have to use one that covers the front. You could put a decoration on here, and then you could take, say, our little mat and just pop that on and have kind of a centerpiece like that, which would look really cute, and put a cat on and everything. So you've got options, and you could have that a bit higher. So it's not absolutely, long as it's kind of within the boundaries of the size of your card. Initially, there are other ones, but for this basic one, long as it's within the boundaries of the card, then you'll be fine. So as I say, for what I'm doing today, we're going to be using a full cover here. So I'm going to take my tape pen. Now the safest thing to do is always to glue our actual card base rather than the piece of paper, because it's almost impossible to guess the size. So you want to be sure that you are gluing the right half, and that you're not doing too much, and that it's going to stick. If you're going to be putting a lot of weight on the front of this easel, then you would need something a little stronger than tape pen, maybe your PVA glue or something like that. Now when I'm doing a card and I'm sticking it down, I always line it up to the top here, because that's the bit that matters. And then the bottom part I can always cut off, but I can't cut the top obviously, so we just do that. Okay, so then when you stand it up, you've got a great look. Now you could use double-sided cardstock here so that this looked nice, or you could double it up before you started so that you had a pattern on the back. I think that often looks quite nice, but because we really are, I'm just trying to do a really nice and simple card base here. I'm not done that because I want that flat. I'm just going to pop that out. Now when we're putting this on, you need to think about how much depth you've got on your actual stopper, because if you put this right at the bottom and your cat was there and it was right at the bottom, then you're going to miss some of the design off. So we want to look, and in this case I'm actually going to centralize it, so that's not going to be a problem, and it's going to sit quite nicely in amongst those lines as well, so that's going to be really good. So we're going to pop that like that. And what I did want to just have a look was whether I could use that for this along the bottom here or across like a ribbon, and I was just going to gently pop it down as if it's as if we put ribbon down. So let's just gently, without sticking it, pop that. Oh, it's all very well doing it like that, but then you move the card, that doesn't really work. Okay, whoops. Because of the type of tape it is, you've got some room there for movement, because if you don't press it down, it's okay. Yeah, I think that's going to look quite nice. I like that. So I'm going to stick that down, and then just, you could do it untidy like washi tape often is done, or I'm going to just snip it so that it's nice and neat. Oh, I just remembered something I thought might look quite nice is one of these little doilies. Just, oops, there's that fork come out there. It's so thin. I thought this would look really nice. So let's, oh, now he's stuck to my table. Ah. Okay. Yeah, because then if we put our flowers down in that corner, then that will be up there, so that would work quite well. Okie dokie. So just a little bit of adhesive in the middle of our doily here, and stick this down in place. I don't want it going past the end of my card, and then popping our layer down, our mat, making sure that's stuck down, just adding a little prettiness there. I was thinking that it would be cool to do the card base here with a very small shimmer of this gorgeous pink, which has just gone everywhere. Okay, let that dry. Oh, it's all over the back as well. And then, oh god, it's a strong smell. Oh. Okay, and then I think I'll do a little bit on the inside as well while we're here. Even it up. I have to say it doesn't look hugely pink, but very pretty nevertheless. Oh gosh, I have to say that is very, very fumes. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Gosh, you can see the pink on the white paper, can't you? Wow. I think I'll have to keep that to use for something. That's fabulous. And I'm just going to go and clean my desk off as well first. Okay, and I'll come back to you in a minute when I can breathe. But as you can see the pinky part of it now, and I think that looks really pretty. So personally, I think it was worth the stink. But I will make sure next time that I am definitely got it in my spray tray that I've got, to make sure it doesn't go over into the onto my mat here. I've just got a little bit of a gap here, so I'm just sticking that down properly. Can't stand gaps. And kitty cat's not sprayed, and I think I quite like the contrast on that, and you can see how pretty he looks on there, if you can call him pretty. I think he's more of a handsome gentleman. And because of the spray behind, I am actually going to use even This is sparkly. I'm going to use my pinfire gel to stick it down just to be sure. Okay, and then just picking that up, popping it down. Oops. And I'm not going to squish it too much. Let me just show you. So we've got just a small amount of dimension, quite literally a small amount there. And he's not quite straight, so let's just twist it. That's better. And I think that's looking really pretty already. Okay, let's just pop this to one side for a moment while Kitty's just drying a little bit. And we're going to take I'll take this piece of paper that's all gorgeously sparkly, and I'm not going to spray anymore. I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm going to stick my tab here to this one here. Okay, let's have a look what we've got over here. So I've got this gorgeous Happy Birthday, which is really sparkly, and these are just Paper Mania Gliterations. I'm just hoping that'll fit. Oh yeah, that'll fit easy, easy peasy. I think they'll look lush. Okay, up here, about there, and I'm just pressing the middle down at the moment, and then I'm going to get my birthday. Not that it's my birthday yet, my birthday is middle of June, but I could send this to myself. I'm a dog person, as you guys would know if you're the ones that follow me on Facebook or Twitter. You know I'm a doggy person with our little baby Daisy, who's sitting with me while I'm crafting. Okay, so that's our Happy Birthday done. Okay, so I found some flowers. I was going to use the ones there that we'd cut out, but I changed my mind. So I'm going to be using these here. Now I need to remember when I place these that I've got the stopper in the way. So I just need to bear that in mind. So I've got these gorgeous bluey ones which go, they've got a little bit of the hint of the greeny tone to it. And then I've got these pinky colours that go perfectly. So these are silk flowers, so I think they're really pretty, and I'm going to pop these out. Now I've got white paper flowers, but I actually think I might use the silk ones. But let's just see. I'm not going to press them down because they have got stickies on the back of them. You can see this one goes really nicely with it. And then we've got the white as well. Do you know, I think, oh no, I'll leave them on, they're helpful. So I think that looks really pretty, and it's just a little something. So let's just stick those down and then double check. Yeah, that's going to look great on there, and I think that just brings it together. Now I'm going to leave those out because I might want them again in a minute. So the next thing, I'm just going to pop this back out the way now. I'm going to just work on this piece here, and we're just going to add, if I can find him, my little sentiment. So he's going to stick down on there. And again, we've got a bit of the sticky on there. That said, I'm pretty confident if I use my tape, rather than my tape pen, that it's not as much as on the front there. So I'm just going to pop this. And I'm putting most of the tape kind of towards the centre because we're going to be putting it in the centre of that, and it kind of hangs off the edge. So we want to make sure, just popping that in the centre. Straight. Does it need to go over just a tiny bit? Yep, I think that looks good. So just pushing that down, and then again now just showing you. See how pretty that's looking? And then I think it would be nice to put just a little bit of something on here, and I want to put some pearls on, but I just wondered about the flowers, whether to put just one little white flower maybe. Up the top there, just to kind of, yeah, or do I want the pink? Let's get the white off a minute. I think the white looks better. So let's just pop that there. So that gives us a little something up there which I like. I'm just looking at this, just to think whether it would look nice with the flowers just falling through there as well, just to add that something there, and I think I'm going to like that. Yeah, let's go for it. What the heck. There we go. And then I'm just going to get some pearls, I think, and we'll add those on. So you can see how a really basic design, you can really start to dress it up and make it look really fancy smanchy. So let's get these pearls. So I'm going to pop them in the corners. So let's just get a little pokey tool to do that with. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is going to work because I'm a bit rubbish with tweezers. In that corner, I think. That's lovely. And I think a couple of pearls just down here to finish that edge off. And I'm just pushing those down, and I think that I'm happy with you. Okay, and here is our finished card, and I hope you'll agree that what was a really simple card actually looks so effective, and I think half of that, or a good portion of that, is because it is an easel card. I personally think it's come out a lot better, much nicer than I was expecting. I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks so pretty, and I hope you do too. So anyway, enough of me yapping on, and I will say night to you now, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.